watching Real Faith TV!
Well, I say you should follow your dreams when you're prepared to do it on your own and when you know that it's an appropriate, good dream to follow.
When it's what you truly believe in.
When you know it's your only dream in life and that it's something you really want to pursue.
You know that you're passionate about it. You know it's what you want to really do in life.
You should follow your dream when it's both feasible and also when you feel that it's within your reach.
Whenever you pursue something, you should just go for it.
I don't think that going after your dreams has to be something scary as long as you work hard and just go for it 100%.
You should always follow your dream. You should never stop.
My dream is to become a psychologist.
To become an actor on Broadway.
To be a Broadway performer.
Work in a TV studio, maybe edit movies.
To be a television actress. I also want to be in some movies.
To become a journalist in an urban setting.
To become a professional soccer player.
To be a professional snowboarder and make it to the Olympics.
I don't have a specific dream right now. Not to be cheesy, but I just want to be happy doing whatever I love. I do acting and singing and all sorts of stuff, and I model in the city, and then I also really like working with children, and I love my best friend's little brother. He's autistic, and that might be something I want to do, so I don't know.
My dream is to be an opera star at the Metropolitan Opera House.
Caro mio ben, credi miel men, senza di te languisce il cor.
Wow, what a voice. I think her dream to be an opera singer is definitely going to come true.
I tell you, she can really sing. She's pretty good.
She can make it all the way.
And you know, Ella, sometimes it seems like our dreams could become a reality while others seem totally impossible.
True, so true, Nick. And the idea of following your dreams comes up often in our lives as we try to figure out where we want to go in the future.
Sometimes it's easy to put our heads in the clouds and fail to complete the everyday tasks before us.
Like doing our homework or even cleaning our room.
Or we might focus on being too practical that we become afraid to take any kind of leap of faith.
Is there a middle ground between completely following our dreams or being completely cynical and not giving them a try?
Are our dreams worth the risk of getting hurt?
What can our faith teach us about what it means to follow our dreams?
To dream or not to dream? That is what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Nick.
And I'm Ella, and this is Real Faith TV.
First, we'd like to thank the St. James Youth Ministry from Red Bank, New Jersey, the God Squad, for helping us open the show today.
And for sharing some of their personal dreams.
We'll meet a few other St. James Youth Ministry teens throughout the show as our wild card guests.
But first, let's meet our spotlight guest, 20-year-old Cecilia Grace Sugarman, a singer-songwriter from Baltimore, Maryland, who's dreaming of touring the world singing.
Let's hear about some of the big dreams she has in store.
I think dreams come from the heart, yet they also come from trying to see what you love. Over the years when you're growing up, there were lots of different things that I tried, whether it was ballet or cooking or making videos, and I always went back to singing and I always went back to performing, and I've been writing songs since I was probably 12. So really for the past 7 or 8 years, I've just really focused on music a lot. And it was really through that, filtering out the different things that I love, sticking to that one thing that I really, really love, that it became my dream. My dream is to headline a world tour where the people in the audience have been inspired or changed by our music in some way. There are some roadblocks. I mean, sometimes I get overwhelmed with how much I have to do and how much is required of this career and how slim the chances are of it even working out sometimes. And I just remember that every story is different, and if I really try and this is meant to happen, it can happen. I think it's important to consider reality because, for example, I know that it's not cheap to go on a world tour, and there are always going to be setbacks, and so I think that it's important to have a plan B. With hard work, things can work out, and you can make them work out if you try. So at the same time, it's always good to have a backup plan, whether big or small.
Oh my gosh, I totally get what she is saying because I like to think I'm good at several things, and I've gone back and forth between career choices so many times that my mom just makes fun of me for it.
I hope she accomplishes her dream of going on a world tour. I think that's so cool. So I'm gonna send my prayers her way and hope she accomplishes those dreams. Well, let's see what our studio guests have to say about this topic.
Okay, they are
John,
Jess,
Emily,
Monique,
Greta,
Naira.
and Mike. Before we have you guys answer our first question, let's meet one of our wildcard guests, Jackie from St. James Parish in Red Bank, New Jersey.
She'll share with us her dream.
My dream is to be happy and follow whatever I love in life. And right now I love a lot of different things, so I definitely want to just find what I'm best at and do something that makes others happy and me. Right now I really love working with Relay for Life, which is an American Cancer Society run event. And that's something that I've done for 4 years straight. And I don't know if it's going to be my future working there, but if I can see myself in 10 years down the road, I definitely think Relay will still be in my life because it's something that makes me happy. Something like that where I'm making an impact and I care a lot about it, that's what I want to do when I'm older. I want to continue doing what I love now and growing and building and helping other people change while I change myself.
So what about you guys? What are your dreams, both big and small?
Well, I would just like to be successful in my life, have a good job, raise a good family, and to have lots of friends. So.
I don't like to admit saying this, but in all honesty, I do want some type of fame. I do want to be famous, to be known, to write my music, to record it, and to be put out there. And yeah.
Yeah, like Monique, I want to be like known for something. So something I want to be known for is like an architect, like build houses for like famous people and like live in California and live the dream.
I'd like to own my own restaurant and like just build it up and like have my own family and stuff like that.
Same with Monique and John. I want my name to be Bill Gates and then Nick.
Okay, Nick, you aim for that. I'll take the simple life, and I used to have like really big dreams. I used to want to be like the next big thing, and then I'm like, how quickly people go through like singers and actors, like they're just phases in people's lives, and I'm like, no, the only thing I really want is to be a mom and a good wife, and make an impact on their lives that'll last forever. We all want to be satisfied and fulfilled in our life goals, but this looks different for each of us.
The unique desires in our hearts teach us something about who we are and who we were created to be.
They make us ask ourselves, what is important to me?
What are the things that bring me joy?
What am I good at? And how do I want to use my gifts in the long term?
It's essential to take time to really think about what we ultimately want out of life.
It also doesn't hurt to have a healthy amount of realism.
Pursuing a dream means overcoming all the kinds of roadblocks that could come our way and keep us from moving forward.
Next, our spotlight guest Cecilia shares some of the roadblocks that she has experienced while trying to pursue her dream.
And how an audition for American Idol pointed her into a new direction.
I didn't get what I hoped for when I auditioned for American Idol twice. I didn't make it past the first round both times, and it's really hard to be told to my face that I'm not good enough and that this is the end of the road. The thing that they've said to me both years, and I had the same judge both years, she said, I don't have enough life experience. Though it was thrilling to be amongst the thousands and thousands of people who had that dream of making it on American Idol. It was like they tried to crush it. And I'll admit, I cried. They had the camera in my face saying, like, how do you feel? And when you see it on TV and they're like, get away from me, that's really how you feel. Like, why are you filming me in this time when they just crushed my dreams. I know that I have talent that God gave me, and so they're not the ones who can tell me that I don't have enough life experience to be on a show. Better and bigger things are coming. God's plan is what matters, and if I'm following God's plan, then people that bring me down don't matter. There are a lot of times that nobody showed up to our show, or there were so many technical difficulties during the show that it was more of fixing the microphones and fixing the speakers than actually performing. And then the crowd gets distracted and they go off and they're not listening anymore. There are lots of times when I'm up there on stage and I'm embarrassed and my throat is starting to get dry and I feel like there's no point in the show. I wish we could just end it right now and I could just go home. I know that if I push through the show, first of all, the day will end and the next day will start. We can learn from other shows and make a better show next time.
Have you ever faced discouragement when pursuing a dream? What did you do?
Well, for me, I was working on a song and I wrote it down in my notebook and I brought it down to a family member that I thought I could trust. And he kind of started to discourage me and I'd say try and fix these things and make it a different way, saying that, oh, these stanzas are too long, or it kind of made me think if I actually brought this to someone, would they say the same thing but worse, oh, you're not good enough for this industry, this, and that. But after I thought about it for a while, I realized that if I just maybe take into consideration to fix that stuff and, just work harder at it, then it will all come in and be like a big melting pot.
I can relate to you. I write music, and that's my passion, just to put my emotions and feelings into words. And I show all my friends, and they're always there to support me, my parents, and that just makes me feel better about myself. But sometimes they have, negative things to say, and that brings me down. But I just get back up and write more, and expand the way I write music, and it just ends better than I wrote it before.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's out of love.
Yeah, especially if it's someone you trust, like a parent or a family friend, or I know for me, it's a director or an acting teacher. They're you're wasting your talents by going into architecture. You're a talented actor, you're a talented singer. That's not what you're supposed to do with your life. It's a waste, and it really hurts, especially because it's someone I trust.
Yeah. Sometimes constructive criticism is what we need to hear, but it's the thing that hurts the most because we are going to someone that we value their opinion and we trust them. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sharing a part of ourselves with them. And it's definitely tough to hear that you're not perfect.
Well, even if it's not constructive criticism, Jesus was being antagonized, and he fell 3 times on the way to the cross, but he got back every time. So I think we need, to take that discouragement and make it to what we want to accomplish.
Find the light at the end.
Exactly. So, where do you find support when following your dream?
That's what we asked our next wildcard guest, Jackie.
Let's meet her now.
I find support through my family, through my youth group directors, through my friends, and most importantly, through God. I pray before every performance, and even during voice lessons when it's getting really tough, I always ask God for help.
We do need to ask God for help to show us a path that He has set for us.
It's not always easy to find this path clearly when our earthly desires pull us away from our true path.
We might want money, popularity, or the newest phone.
But when we are nearest to God, we can feel ourselves begin to want things more important, like justice, peace, and self-giving.
Next, our spotlight guest Cecilia talks to us about how she praises God through her music.
And how she has used her songwriting gift to bring love and hope to a close friend dealing with a difficult time.
I feel that God calls me whenever I sing. I sing to Him, I sing for Him, and I sing because of Him. Whenever I sing, that's when I'm truly happy because I know that I'm doing God's will. Singing is fulfilling because not only do I bring my music to others, but I get this kind of satisfaction with touching people's lives. And Philippians 4:13 is a passage that I always look to. It's where we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And I put that in my song called The One Who Gave You Wings, and it's about how God is the one who gave us the ability to do all the things that we can do And so if we fly with the one who gave us wings, then we can do all things. Our faith teaches us that we need to be strong and to remember that that strength comes from Jesus. And we need to have fortitude, which is courage, and courage to fight against all of the things that push at us in the world. Last year, my friend's little sister was diagnosed with lymphoma, and so I wrote a song for them from the perspective of my friend, singing it to her little sister. And then I asked them if they could come to watch me perform it for them. So I had a show, and they came, and they were both moved to tears. I mean, of course, I can't imagine what it's like to go through that, a family member who has a sickness like that where their life is really on the line. And so knowing that I helped them cope through that hard experience was something that changed my life. And I know that they were changed by it, and so that really inspired me.
We're going to hear the song Cecilia wrote for a friend, The One Who Gave You Wings, at the end of today's show.
I don't know about you, Nick, but I can't wait.
Me either.
Okay, guys, so do you think your plans are in line with God's?
I think that what my dreams are to becoming a pediatrician to help kids is God's plan, because no matter how many times I think about changing what I want to be, even though I'm still young, I think helping kids is going to be one of the things that God wants me to do.
In World Cultures last year, we learned about all the people in Africa and the genocides happening, and from then on, I was like, I need to help these people. So I don't know how I'm gonna do it or like how to get involved or started, but I really wanna just try to make things better for them.
I want to be a nurse in the NICU. I really enjoy that thought. It's just gotta get past the math part, and then I'll get there.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to be a nurse, but I do want to have a lot of children and be a good wife someday. I can't wait. But to think that maybe if God put a roadblock in my plan, like maybe me or my husband was barren, like it's like, whoa, that just threw off my entire life. Like being a mom was the only thing I wanted. And that doesn't necessarily mean that door is closed either. I can open a window and try adoption, or even go across countries and, help other kids in need, so.
Accepting God's plan for our lives doesn't mean just sitting passively and just letting things happen to us.
We need to make active choices.
When we feel drawn into a certain direction, it is important for us to carefully consider it.
The virtue of prudence is very helpful when making any big decision or setting long-term goals.
According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, prudence enables us to discern our true good in every circumstance and to choose the right means of achieving it.
A good question to ask ourselves is this something that will help me to serve God and others and bring about good in the world?
Next, Bobby, another wildcard guest from St. James God Squad, shares his thoughts on the role he sees God's playing in his dream.
My dream is to be a Broadway performer, and every time I'm on stage, I can just feel God right next to me, and he's helping me get through the show, because sometimes the shows are really hard.
So how do you know God's calling you to follow a particular dream?
Well, I know if someone keeps telling me, hey, you're good at this, maybe you could do that as a career, then I begin to think about that and say, yeah, you know what? Maybe I can go do this. Maybe I can go work in film and TV and that sort of stuff. And that could be what God is telling me to do through my family and my friends.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's always something so direct. Like I know I learned in history this year about like early U.S. economics that there was this idea of laissez-faire, like an invisible hand. Like I don't know if it's something you can always see or is going to happen. I feel like it's a gentle push that like once it's happened, you're like, really? This is what you want me to do? Like you don't always know that this is your path.
Exactly.
I feel like you can look for signs around, because
Like what?
Like, for instance, my friend and I went to the chapel a while back, and we were in deep prayer, and she opened up the Bible to a random page, and the scripture was about marriage. And she's always dreamed of being a mom. She's always wanted to have kids. And so she kind of went on that, like, okay, maybe this is what God wants me to do. And she's so happy, she's so surprised and confused, but she understands that, like, maybe this is really what God wants me to do. So I feel like looking for signs or like praying to God like will really help you understand what he wants your dreams to be.
Yeah, I know that God talks to us in like the little ways and you really have to listen to hear him. But like sometimes I wish he'd just like say something, you know, in like a deep booming voice, like this is what you need to do. I know a year ago I was really upset and I told you about it. Do you remember I watched the movie about Saint Therese? And I thought I wanted to be a nun, and I got so upset because, I mean, you know, being a nun is great, but I really wanted a family. And I was actually bawling my eyes out the whole night thinking, like, God, you can't have me be a nun. Like, I need to have kids. And I talked to you about it the next day, and you really gave me, like, words of encouragement that, like, if I'm meant to have children, like, I'm sure that I can do great for God and also bring up kids at the same time. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 28, Jesus tells his disciples, I am with you always.
He guided them and helped them on their mission to spread his message and gave them the strength to continue despite persecution and certain death.
The fulfillment of this can lead them to do amazing things in this world and become saints in the next.
The same can be true for us. Jesus is with us always, ready and waiting to give us the help we need to make our longings in our hearts, our dreams, a visible reality.
Finally, our Spotlight guest Cecilia discusses how our dreams may change over time.
And how prayer helps her to stay on track with her ambitions.
I think our dreams do change sometimes, but I don't think they can get smaller. I think our dreams can only get bigger. We don't always have a specific plan for like what exactly we're going to do for the not so distant future, but we do have kind of a set routine of, you know, connecting with fans and writing songs and practicing our music and brushing up on our instruments and our vocals. There's definitely a lot of sacrifice that comes with a dream like this. A lot of weekends where, you know, we're not going out with friends and we're not just relaxing around the house. You know, we're working, we're going to our gigs. It's hard sometimes, but it's paying off, and I know it's going to continue to pay off in the future. I rely on my parents a lot for strength and support. They always teach me to be strong, and they bring me up when I feel discouraged. They encourage me to always continue and work harder. Prayer helps me to better know myself and to know what my plan is in life. When I take that time to reflect and just talk to God, then I can kind of filter out the bad things, and God has his different ways of telling me what I need and what I don't need. I would say to people who are trying to pursue their dreams that you should never give up, no matter what other people say. No matter if people bring you down or if you bring yourself down by thinking that you can't do it, that first of all, you can't do it alone. You can do it with God's help and with people who support you.
How do you guys think prayer can help us stay on track with our dreams?
I talk to him and think, yes, this is something that God would want me to do because I can go, I can help other people with this. This can benefit me and others. Or if you're talking to him about it and thinking, maybe he wouldn't want me to do this because this isn't a good thing for me to do, it's a good time to sort of refocus on what you really want to do and how it's going to affect your life and others'
So
lives.
it's like a checkpoint to make sure you're both on the same track.
Yep.
I like that.
For me, I feel like prayer is like having a conversation with God. It's like he's like your best friend. So if you're having a trouble in your life and you don't want to talk to a friend about it, you don't want to talk to a parent about it, like you can just sit down in a quiet place and you can just start talking, and it's like having a conversation with God, and that just, it amazes me.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm the youngest in my family, so my siblings aren't often around. Like my sister moved away to a different state. My other sister's going off to college, and my brother has a full-time job, so there's not always someone around to talk to. So I just sort of sit by myself and like think, and before I know it, I'm not alone. But even though I may physically be, I feel like someone else is with me and I'm having a conversation even though I'm not talking aloud.
I can definitely go off what you said about when you pray to God, and when I pray to him, I feel like I can connect with reality and I can see the possibilities and then the impossibilities. And one of my big dreams is to go to UCLA, and that's the school that I have to work for. And when people say, no, you can't go there, you're not like smart enough, or it's too expensive, I think I can work for my goals and head there.
Making our dreams a reality takes work.
It can be easy to get burnt out, to lose motivation when it doesn't happen right away, or maybe even lose some confidence along the way.
We might even doubt whether we made the right choice to begin with.
But if we trust God and believe that He loves us and wants what is best for us,
then we will trust that the dreams He puts in our hearts will lead us closer to Him and closer to true happiness.
so how is God leading you to your dream?
We'd love to hear from you.
Contact us at realfaithtv.com.
Or send us a tweet.
And we'll leave you today with the awesome song, The One Who Gave You Wings, written and performed by our spotlight guest, Cecilia Grace, and her sister, Tessa.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV. God bless.
This is who I am. This is who I'm gonna be. You can't take that away from me. No, I'm not be where I've been, judging by the mistakes I've been in. But I know if I'm with Him, I'll be okay. So fly with the one who gave you wings, and know that with Him you can do all things. 'Cause who